time, and addressing the world's water and sanitation crisis will help us reach 15 of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Recognizing the urgency with which we have to act is Rivonia-based water and environmental consultancy, that's GCS, who's conducting an aquatic assessment in Bryanston today as part of the annual Spruit Day cleanup. The Spruit Day cleanup is a community initiative to clean up rivers and make a positive impact both for the surrounding communities and the environment. For more, let's chat to CEO of GCS, that's Gunn, and ecologist Sean Ripley. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you so much for coming out on a Saturday to the SABC News Desk.
Pleasure, Kirsten.
Adam, let's start with you. It does begin to feel that in the country we're caught in a perpetual water crisis, if you want to call it that. Tell us how this partnership came to fruition.
Yeah, sure. So this goes back about 6 years. 2013, as you said, is a community-based initiative aimed at, it started off as basically just a cleanup of the litter and the surroundings of the Spruit. GCS became recently involved because we are experts in terms of water quality testing, and we were specifically asked to analyze the water both on the chemical side and on the aquatic health side, and so that is our role. There are other legs to it. It's community involvement, it's education, government is involved too, so it's part of a bigger initiative to try and make this stretch of the Bryanston Spruit a healthier piece of river, which, as you say, is vital in terms of our water issues.
Yes. Adam, how difficult is it to leverage the support of government and community in projects like this? I just want to hear some of your challenges that you're facing out there right now.
Well, starting with the community, the response has actually been amazing. Today in particular, people came out in numbers and very different aspects of community. Some people were just coming out literally to just come and lend a hand. Other people had business ideas, putting things into social media. People are doing studies, master's degrees. So the community definitely is putting their weight behind it. Then there's a linkage into government. The local ward councillor was there. People who actually communicate with Joburg Parks, with the JRA, with the city of Joburg in terms of fixing infrastructure. Because, for example, sewage pipes and leakages are a major issue and a source of E. coli pollution. So that's when you start seeing the linkages into government. And then, as I say, City Parks was there, the MEC came out today. So there is a lot of interest from government, and I think because of the fact that water is a critical development issue for us.
Yes. Sean, let's start with you. Isn't it one of the great paradoxes of human nature that we really only start to value something when it begins running out? How precarious is the situation now in terms of water scarcity in the country, Sean?
So, I mean, obviously South Africa being a very arid sort of region within the world, we do obviously have a major water crisis at the moment. Particular, we find it's sort of expanding from our eastern coast all the way across to the western coast. So there is major implications and problems that we are facing with that within the context of South Africa. With regards to what we observed today on the Spruit, this is a baseline sort of assessment. So we're starting to understand how the system works and what are the impacts associated with the system. And from there we'll be able to draw sort of correlations for mitigation or rehabilitation strategies that we might be able to advise, and we can take it from there.
In terms of the information that you're collating or that you're collecting, how are our freshwater resources being threatened right now?
So from numerous factors. GCS being an environmental consultancy company, we work for a lot of mines around South Africa, and obviously we see firsthand what sort of impacts are associated with mines. I think today's sort of assessment, we got to see the urban impact of what sort of impact does living in the urban environment sort of have on our water quality aquatic systems.
Is it accurate to say, Sean, that rivers running through urban areas are more stressed than those running through rural ones?
Yes, to a certain extent and certain degree, with the amount of surface runoff that we experience within our urban areas. Obviously with excess concrete we see excess runoff going into our water sources, but the accumulation of sort of pollutants, we do see relatively different sort of impacts with rural communities than with the urban communities. So Yes, they may be stressed to a certain degree more in urban sort of environments, but I think urban and rural, there is sort of its impacts are associated with both sort of activities.
Adam, once the information is collated and the data put together and analysed and so on, how does government receive this information and what exactly do they do with it? Are there any monitoring mechanisms in place to see how the information is used to better the quality of the rivers or to raise awareness in communities around the rivers?
So once we have a decent set of data, we need a full year's worth of data to have a proper idea of what's happening in terms of river health and pollution. And then we will make that information public. So we will actually publish it as part of this initiative. And then, it's public information. So then it's up to government as to how they respond. They have already indicated today that they are interested in working together with us and getting involved, which was very positive. So, the enforcement and compliance side, that's their side of the partnership.
Sean, are we doing enough at this point to protect our freshwater resources, do you think?
So I would say collectively, I think South Africa, we try and collectively say that we need to come together as a community and sort of protect our ecosystems together. I would like to break it down to say individually, each individual person that is a user, they need to be conscientious about what are you using in your day-to-day tasks? Are you using single-use plastics? Every sort of man-made synthetical product ends up in landfill sites, into our water system. So we've got to be conscientious about what we are using and how we are using and how we're disposing of our products for us to actually, sort of increase or
make a difference.
Yes, and taking personal responsibility, of course. Adam, I want to hear what are some of the smart solutions to the water and the development challenges we face that you're bouncing off at your company right now?
Yeah, so I think the big issue we face in South Africa is just really being efficient in terms of the water use. As Sean said earlier, we are an arid country and we struggle with an unequal distribution of rain. Most of the good rain falls right close to the eastern coast. So it's really being efficient with the little bit of water that we have. We have big infrastructure challenges. There hasn't been great maintenance the last couple of years, so leakages accounts for almost 50% of
water
use,
waste.
in inverted commas. And the individual can make a difference. So there is a government responsibility, but there's also an individual and community responsibility, and together we can make a difference.
And what is it really at a simplistic household level can ordinary South Africans do to conserve water more, Sean?
Just be conscientious about how we are consuming water. So if there is little things of collecting your grey water and watering your garden with it, that little aspect makes a big difference at the end of the day. So collectively, as if we can break it up as individuals of how we go about using our resources and be conscientious about how we recycle these resources, there is a way that we are able to improve our ecological conditions that we're observing out there.
Members of the public listening out there, Adam, who want to get involved in the Spruit Day cleanup going forward or projects around that, how do they reach you?
They can just Google Spruit Day cleanup and they'll pick up various links. There's a Facebook page, there's a web page, there are various articles that have been written, and there are community members that reach out to the public. So they'll pick up all those sources. They can just contact anybody, or they can just contact GCS if they want. They can go to our website and we'll show them where to go. There's plenty to be done.
Adam and Sean, thank you so much for coming through to the SABC News Desk. It's been a pleasure chatting with you both.
Thank you so much.